The New Zealand Warriors have made the New South Wales Cup finals, and we're going to give you a preview today, brought to you by warriorsanonymous.co.nz. That's the online store where you can get all the Warriors Anonymous branded gear, streetwear for men, women, kids. Yeah, the whole whānau sorted right there at warriorsanonymous.co.nz. I'm almost lost for words. Now let's have a look at the finals. They play out in a top 5 format, so it's not a top 8 like the NRL. It's only the top 5. The Warriors on top there, followed by the Dragons, Eels, Jets and Raiders. Week 1 of the finals saw an elimination final between the Jets and the Raiders, and it was Canberra who'd get things going nice and early. With some great play like this, as they run down the outside, plenty of room. Wonderful play here from the winger. The dummy gets away from the fullback. And the Raiders would shoot out to an 18-0 lead at the halftime break. But of course, the Newtown Jets, they would come flying back. The defending premiers from last year. And they got close. But this is right at the end. The last play of the game. And they were just forced into touch there, and they would go down 24 points to 18. The Raiders would win. They would move on another week. And the Jets, they are out for 2025. Now into the qualifying final. This was later on in the day. It was the Dragons taking on the Eels. And here's Jonah Glover just splitting the defence nice and wide open. It was even at halftime, even at 8s. But then the Dragons in the second half, they started to extend out to a big old lead. 24 points to 8 they led. But a wonderful comeback once again. Another good comeback from the Parramatta Eels. But once again, they would come up just short as well. 24 points to 18. Same scores in both of these games this week. This is not an elimination game here. So the Dragons, they would move up to take on the Warriors next week in the major semi-final. While the Parramatta Eels, they will take on the Raiders in the minor semi-final, which is a knockout game. Now for our Warriors, here it is, the major semi-final. It's a big game coming up this Sunday at Leichhardt Oval in Sydney. They're taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons. It's team number 1 versus team number 2 in what should be a juicy matchup. And the live stream is going to be on Bar TV Sports for all of that. Now, they've met twice this year. A couple of enthralling games as well. Over at Go Media Stadium back in round 7, it was a close one actually, until the Warriors put on a few tries towards the end of the game, like this one here to Luke Hansen. And they would push out to 40 points to 12 winners in the end at Go Media Stadium. It was a different story though over in Wollongong. And once again, Jonah Glover cutting through, and he'll be a danger man to watch this week. It was the Dragons who shot out to a lead in a wet and windy, wild Saturday afternoon. And it would end up being the Warriors having to make a bit of a comeback in the second half, which they did. They had a hat-trick to the winger Ed Cossey. This was one of them. This was the third try. Goes over in the corner off a turnover to bring the Warriors right back into it. Tied ball game right at the end. Cleary tried the drop goal, but to no avail, and it was 14 points all, a draw in round 22. So this could be a close game. Now the Warriors, let's have a look at the scenarios. If they lose this week, they will go to a preliminary final. So that's not a knockout game this week. They will go back and play the winner of the Parramatta versus Raiders game. But the carrot, if they can win this week, the big one, they go straight through to the grand final. And that will be on Sunday, the 28th of September over at CommBank Stadium in Parramatta. So that's the carrot there for the Warriors. If they can take out the Dragons this week, they could go straight through and be one game away from having a premiership under their belt. Until then, we're going to have all the team lists and all the updates as well with the kickoff times loaded up for you right here on Warriors Anonymous. See the description for the times. I'll put them in there when we have them. Till the weekend, up the wires. Go the Warriors!